So whenever we need to grab user information from HTML page, we use HTML form tag. The input contains text fields, text areas, okay, radio buttons, numeric data, list boxes. It's a big thing. It's a big combination. So let's try to understand HTML form in detail. The first form which we are going to create is login form. So I'm going to create a login.html. I'm saying login here. In body, HTML form is created with the help of form tag. Okay, a form tag always attached with action. So action is whenever you are submitting the form, some action should happen at the backend. That data should get sent to somewhere at the web server. So that action URL should be mapped here. And the second thing, here there is an optional parameter called method. If you do not provide a method argument, that means you are using HTTP GET method to send the data. If you are providing HTTP POST, only then the form is wrapped into a POST request and sent it to the server. Now, most of the times I observed that form is used when we are sending a POST request. Okay, so let's take a view on form creation. So we are going to create a login form. So here action is /login. As of now, I don't have anything at the back end which will actually define this /login, but we're gonna just map it, hard code it, okay? And I'm just saying method equals to post. Now in HTML form, we have to create text fields. So there are different fields we can map, and we're gonna learn one by one how these input fields are mapped. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a p tag, and in that we will actually add a text field. So let's go ahead and add p tag. So I'm just saying username colon, and here we are going to use a form tag. Okay, so it will be input. Okay, and here you will define type equals to text. So now there are different types. You can actually define type equals to, and there are multiple things. It can be a button, checkbox, color. Okay, you can see many things here, which is like number, password. We're gonna use text. So text is like we are getting a text input out of it. One more thing is you can define name to it. So you can actually have a name to this particular field. So I'm just saying the name of this field is username. This name is carried with the data. Okay, so at the server end, server will be able to identify that username is coming in the data. Now you can also define ID. ID is a unique identifier within this particular HTML page. So when we will use JavaScript and AngularJS, these IDs will be useful for us to identify a unique element within this HTML page. I'll just open it in big screen. Now I need one more thing, which is password. So I'm going to write it in a very similar fashion. It says password, input type equals to, and here instead of text, let's check whether we have anything for password, because password field should not be visible, right? So I have password now, so I can use password. I can say password here also, and ID also password. I can do that. Will be that. Now when user provides these two inputs, user has to submit the data also. So now you can actually create input. Now here you're gonna say type equals to, so first close, type equals to, and instead of text we say type equals to submit. So this is actually a button which is when we press it, the login action gonna happen. So you can label it. I think it's title. Yeah, so title is submit. Okay, so now this is our complete form, and we can actually run this form and see if it really works. So I'm not worried about whether action is being taken or not, but I'm just worried like whether the form is visible properly. So let's go ahead and check whether this form really works. So right click, open with, and browse, and this is the form which you're looking at. So you can just provide some data here. So username Rishi, password is not visible, and then when we submit the query, it's gonna actually go see login. So basically we are hitting a login, so that's what it happened. So when server is running though, it will actually attach the context name, that is localhost or whatever context you are running on, and slash login will actually hit to the hit as a URL. Good with that. So that being said, we are actually writing a very simple field here, which is username and password, and these are very simple types of fields. We can create more. So for that, let's create an employee information grabber kind of form. So we'll say employee form. So this is a form which employee will fill as soon as you join the company. So let's create that as a employee.html. And what we'll do is we'll add multiple fields into it, multiple types of fields into it, okay, and try to learn everything together. So here I'm just saying this is new employee form, and now you're gonna have form action equals to, you'll say create employee. With that, method equals to post, and then we are going to write some fields here. So what are the different fields employee can have? So the first one is first name, and first name, as you can imagine, it should be a text. So input type equals to text. Okay, so then you can complete here. You don't actually need all those things like name equals to or ID equals to. It's a recommendation, but it's not mandatory. So I'll just add name equals to and just say first name. We'll get that, and that ends your p tag. Second thing, I need a last name, so it will be very similar to this. So this will be a last name. Type equals to test last name. Cool with that. Now let's add few other fields into it. So let's take gender. So gender will be radio button, correct? So radio button, and we will add two parameters to it, male and female, and one of that should be chosen. So how do we do that? So let's take that. So we'll start with the p tag. So here you go, it will be a p. Now inside that I'm just saying gender color, and then I will be having two values to it. So first value, I'll just say input, then you have type equals to, so it will not be text, so it will be type equals to radio, so it will be radio buttons, correct? Name is something which identified as server, so I don't have to worry about that, but then still I'm adding it. It's a gender, and we need to actually provide a value to it. Okay, so whenever somebody selects this value will be returned. So this is male, okay, and then you can attach male. Okay, this is something which will be visible, okay, and that completes my p tag, correct? I will rather prefer having p tag, both the p tags together. So instead of p tag, I'll just say br here. So what will happen is it will break it here, and we will add one more input. That's so radio again, gender again, but the value will be female. And then finally I close my p tag. So now I'll get a gender. So now I'll go ahead and test this and see if it works that way. So let's open in browser, and you can see this is male and female. Of course you can add one more p tag and make sure it aligns properly, but then male or female. So see, one of them only can be selected, and we achieved that with the help of name. Okay, so we did that because now I put it in the same name, so that means you are actually relating or having a single entity called gender, and out of that only one value is selected. So if on the load of this form, okay, on the loading, I want this male to be checked by default. So if you really want that, what you can do is you can just say checked equals to, and you can just say checked. So if you do that, basically, then by default, whenever screen is loaded, you will get that value checked. With that, and if I say female checked, okay, by default female will be checked. So you can do that too. Unload. So when you are loading this form, female is checked. Getting the point? So you can do that, or it is the default checked parameter. Now if you want to add something, or if you want to add more things, like I don't want to define my gender, so you can add one more parameter there, which is like not specified. Correct? So gender, and this here it's not specified. Okay, and you cannot check to well if this is unknown. Cool with that? So you can definitely use this form now. So go ahead and run this. You got unknown and female is checked. So now you can choose out of this three. Okay, so this is ready over done. Whenever we are creating such forms, if you want to combine for few fields together, what you can do is you can actually add them in a field set. So to do that, we can actually use field set. Okay, and you can start field set tag, then attach whatever you want into a field set and complete your field set. So what will happen is this entire form will come inside a box kind of thing. So you can see that, and that comes here. You can name this also, and that is called a legend. So you can actually have a legend. Okay, so you can just say it's personal information. Okay, and then if you come here, refresh the screen, it will come like this. So this box has a particular name now, so personal information having first name, last name and gender. So that is about field set. Now I want to add something like which department this employee is in, and department can be chosen from the list box. So how can I do that? So for that we can actually start and end your p tags, and here I will say department. Actually you can put it here. So department colon, and then here select. So it's a select. Select is a select box basically. So in that you can actually give options to user. Cool with that? So in select you can choose from multiple values. Name equals to, and then you provide that. So this is department. Cool with that? Now go ahead and add multiple options. So what are the department you can go into? So you can add option. So these are multiple options, by the way. So just in with option, and then you can add department like consultancy. You can add store, business, you have sales. So these are departments employee can work into. So these are the options which can be selected by employee. So let's go ahead and see the screen now. So refresh, and you got department, and these are the options we have. So you can actually choose sales. Cool with that? So this is your select box. If you want one of the option from this as a selected, you can actually say option, and here you can say selected equals to selected. So what will happen is when the form loads, this particular option will be selected by default. So you can say consultancy is selected first. Cool with that? Now this form allows only one value to be selected. Now you can actually change this or tweak this to allow multiple values. This is a possibility that one employee works in store and he's also doing consultancy. Okay, so how do I do that? So for that you just have to do one thing. You just say multiple equals to, and then multiple, that's it. So if you once you do that, so if you just refresh the screen, now you're gonna get this option. So now you can just press Control and select multiple values. Cool with that? These days the cool feature like auto completion is very popular. So instead of having the list which is pre-populated, we will allow users to actually enter something, and with that entered parameter or search parameter, the values can be pre-selected. So for that, just change your list to data list and it will work as you want. So HTML added that cool feature. So we're gonna do that. So we will add p tag, and we know that our employee is going to live in the same city, so we'll add some county. See, so which county they belongs to. So and here I'll just say it's a data list. So I'm just saying county data. Okay, and That's it. That's pretty much it. And then you can actually add options to it. So options gonna be a very similar way. So you have option, which in tag option, and then you can have multiple counties. Okay, so suppose my company is in Tampa, Florida. Okay, so what are the things I have? So I'm just saying Oldsmar. Okay, then Riverdale. What else I have? Hillsborough. Okay, I don't know lot many counties there. What else I have? Duluth. Anyway, so these are the enough counties. So now I have this data list published here. So let's run this. Before that, few missing things. We need to add an input here. So we need to specify that input type equals to list. So let's do that. So we'll say input type equals to, so not text, type equals to list. And here you say name is basically which county, so which list you are getting populated, so that you are going to say. So that is list is basically county data. Cool with that? And then I will just add a small break statement here so that it will not actually collide with each other. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and run this. It's multiple annotations. So let's check what exactly happened. So we can use that's right. So input, we'll say list equals to, and then we specify country data. So we are providing country data as a list to the input. So input list equals to country data. So this is what we're gonna publish, and then we will actually have a BR here, which is a break between this county and data list. And now we will have a search box, autocomplete search kind of field. Okay, so let's run this. So in county, you can see these things are populated, and I can enter something. So D, and as soon as I enter D, I get Duluth. I can complete that stuff. Cool with that? So this is, so it is because of your data list. Okay, so we are up to the point where we learned about basic features of a form. Okay, so we have also added important features into important fields in the form. So now this knowledge is enough to proceed further for JavaScript. So remember that our aim is to go and touch AngularJS. I can start learning AngularJS as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and start our JavaScript journey. So enjoy your time.